go from one baseball coach and Coach Molinix, we're going to go right to another now, as it's going to be Coach Joe Paris of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, who are on somewhat of a hot streak, if I may say so myself. Coach, how we doing today?
Good. How you doing today, Ty?
Not bad at all, Coach, and I think you guys are doing even better as of late. Let's talk about this a little bit. Let's talk about this streak you guys have been on. What have you seen since that loss to Ursuline? What has kind of been the turning point, and not a bad loss at all, but what kind of did you say in the locker room to the guys, in the dugout to the guys after that loss, and what's kind of been the change in momentum now?
Well, I just think at the beginning of the season, we have a really young squad. We're starting 5 sophomores and a freshman for the most part, and at the beginning of the season, we're having a hard time putting the bat on the ball, moving runners over. We're striking out too much, averaging probably 1 an inning. So over the last week and a half, we've done a much better job putting the ball in play and putting pressure on the defense to make the plays.
You guys get another victory against Cardinal Mooney last night. Carson Fuller goes 3 for 3 with a double. And we talk about guys, it seems like next man up. So we talked to Donovan Bell Sullivan just the other day too. He had a 3 for 3 performance. Now Carson's bat's starting to get hot. Talk about these new faces and how their bats are starting to come around and the confidence you're seeing in their swings.
Well, this was the first season in a long time where we had a lot of positions wide open. Other than our senior in center field and behind the plate and shortstop, every other position was wide open. And we knew that we had a good sophomore class and they were going to have something to say about this. So it was good to have competition. And guys like Carson and Donovan and Don Perry, some of these sophomores have really stepped in and done a great job for us. Carson struggled a little bit at the beginning, swinging the bat, but we made a little bit of an adjustment with his front shoulder, and he's doing a great job. And the sophomores, they're such a great group. They're extremely coachable, and they listen to everything you say. And they're really fun to be around.
Talking about the pitching of last night, another great performance. Joe Roth goes 6 innings in the victory, and that 1 no runs, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts. Between him and Jake, talk to me about having these two as leadership roles and both being on the mound and how influential that is for a younger pitching staff to follow.
Well, it's great. Each time that Joe and Jake go out, whoever this ace is, it doesn't matter. Joe has been our Tuesday guy in the league. He's our starting catcher as well, so he'll start on Mondays and then behind the plate and come back on Tuesdays on the mound. And Jake Corll has just done a great job. And both these guys, they really set an example for the younger kids, especially in the weight room and the off-season stuff, on what to do to prepare yourself to play. And both these guys have, each time they've gone out so far this year, they've given us a quality start. And they're just very smart baseball-wise too. And the one thing I can say about our seniors is they have been outstanding with the young kids. You would never know that we had sophomores on this team and freshmen on our varsity team. They've taken them under the wings, and they've just done a great job all season, leading by example. Very proud of those two guys.
Which player is the most likely, or what do they do necessarily to sort of break the ice with the newer guys coming up too? And what's their kind of go-to to kind of break that ice and break that tension and get guys comfortable with each other?
Well, you know how guys are. They bust each other's chops in the dugout. And the older guys just, they take the younger guys under the wing. They give them advice on how to work in between starts, especially our pitching staff. I'm a firm believer that you put in the work in between starts. You just don't go out there every 5 days and pitch. It's about what you do in between starts. And the young guys, we have a little saying when they have a start, I always tell them, make sure they bring their running shoes the next day and they're out running poles before the game starts. And no complaints. They just know that's something that we do here at Fitch, and they bought into it, and they see the older guys doing it. And so they just follow along. And it's been great.
You guys have been able to get a lot of games under your belt this season, as opposed to the weather trying to be adverse to a lot of teams. You guys still able to sneak in a bunch of games. Talk about this facility that you guys are able to play into and how beneficial this is going to be come tournament time.
Well, it's a tremendous asset to us, to our program here at Fitch High School, and the administration, the Board of Education, our superintendents, our athletic directors have really done a great job maintaining this facility, putting it together for us to play. We have 13 games in right now. And so, the other coaches in the area have been gracious, I guess is the word. So like yesterday we played Mooney. It was supposed to be at Scene, which was unplayable, and they were nice enough to come to our place because they want to play baseball just like we do. So, we've been blessed. The facility it's amazing. It's breathtaking. And, the guys really take care of it, and they appreciate everything that they have done for us here in the community.
Let's talk about this conference. I think no doubt one of the toughest conferences that you guys play in. And you've only gotten a couple games in with Harding, so you got to really get into the thick of it in the second half. Do you allow the attention that is being given to the team, such as the Canfields and the Boardmans now, kind of play as a chip on the shoulder for you and the guys going into this conference play?
I would be lying if I say I didn't. We knew that Canfield was going to get all the attention with the team that they have coming back, and rightfully so. Gary does a great job over there with those kids in Canfield, and they just got some studs to play over there. But I can promise you this, my guys aren't going to back down. We're not scared. We're not afraid. We're going to come out and we're going to play hard, and whatever happens, happens. But we know that if we come out and we play hard, that we can live with whatever the results are. And we're not scared of anybody. We'll play anybody anywhere, and that's just our mentality. And that starts, excuse me, that starts with our seniors. That they have that attitude where they don't care who's pitching against them. If they're throwing in the 90s, bring it. And they're going to go out there and we're going to battle, and we'll see what happens. But Canfield deserves everything, all the attention, and Boardman as well. Joe over there with those kids, those are great coaching staffs, and they prepare those kids very well.
Let's talk about some of the younger guys that you're seeing on this squad too, that are really stepping up and making a name. We mentioned a couple of them too, but what are some other talented guys that you're excited for seeing in the future of Fitch baseball? Well,
we'll start with the youngest. We have two outstanding freshmen in Carter Owens and Mason Petredis. Carter has been floating up and down with the JVs and varsity here and there. He's a shortstop. He's probably going to be our starting shortstop next year for the next 3 years. And Mason has played third base for us. He started some games. He's come off the bench. So he'll be our starting third baseman going forward probably. And those two guys are going to eventually be our top two guys in the rotation as well. They're only freshmen. Carter just threw a no-hitter the other night at the JV level. So both those guys got a bright future. So that's the freshmen. And there's plenty of other freshmen as well. Those guys that are down to the JVs just quite aren't ready yet to be brought up. And the guys that we have at the varsity level have been doing a great job. And we have a sophomore in Don Perry in left field. We have a sophomore in right field in Drew Kashak. We mentioned Carson at second base as a sophomore. I don't want to forget Hayden Warmouth. I just brought up from the JVs. He's been playing a lot of first base for us lately, and Donovan's a big part. Donovan has solidified the 5-hole, as I mentioned the other night, in our lineup because I moved Mikey Shortino from the 5-hole to the leadoff spot to try to get him out of a little slump that he was in. And he's very comfortable at the leadoff spot. So Donovan has done a great job, stepped in that 5-hole and solidified the middle of the order. So we have a bright future. I thought it would be a little tougher for us. Like I didn't know we'd have this much success this soon, but the guys are playing well together, and there's a lot of chemistry there. The guys are unselfish, and that's a big part of the success that we're having.
Another big part, too, is just having those guys in from the youth programs up, too. And with that, saying that, Coach, I like to give all of our head coaches a chance to kind of put the spotlight on some of their assistants and some of the other big names in the baseball program. So I want to give you that chance now to shout out some other big names in the Fitch Falcon baseball program.
Absolutely. Our head JV coach is Joe Chepke. His name is well known throughout the community, and Joe does a great job with the JVs. I love his philosophy. He has a core guys that get a lot of playing time, but he makes sure that all the other players get, enough at bats and get enough playing time. And Joe understands at the JV level that it isn't about winning, but anybody that's coached JVs, they want to win just as bad as everybody else. And Joe's very loyal. He's very dedicated. And we also have a freshman coach, John Drummond, who's a teacher in the school district. He come over from Mooney a couple of years ago. He's a high school teacher for us, and he does an excellent job. He's very knowledgeable about the game. Joe's younger son, Joey, is our JV pitching coach. He calls all the pitches. He played for me, under me, and so he and I think a lot alike. Robbie Russo is another coach that we have. He's with us at the varsity level. He's the best defensive first baseman I've ever seen, ever coached, for sure. And he does a great job with us at the varsity level. He's a volunteer, but he's an ex-player. He's 22 years old, finishing up college. So, the varsity coaches, Jake Corbett is my assistant. He's been with me for however long I coached. We coached basketball together in middle school, and Jake is our third base coach, and he's our hitting coach. And then we also brought on Frank Pugliese, who's our first base coach, and he does a great job with the kids as well. Frank and I we actually coached Little League together a couple of years ago with our boys. So Frank and I have been together as well. So all in all, we have a great coaching staff. It's a family atmosphere. We all get along, and we're all loyal and dedicated to this program.
Coach, before we let you go, I just want to highlight the number of attendance that you guys have been getting. Has been really nice to see at these ball games. A lot of people getting out and supporting. What does it mean to you to just have a community that is so hungry for its baseball too, and gets out there and supports its baseball just as much as any other sport? It seems like
it's awesome. I don't really focus on the crowd as much. I hear them. I try not to look up in the crowd. There's been times I didn't even know my wife was at the games and she was there, but I just try to carry on the legacy that Coach Coppola set forward at this program. He's a legend, and then Coach Ford followed him, who's another legend. I'm just trying to make those guys proud. And I'm a Fitch baseball guy myself. I went to Fitch. I played. So to see the community come out and supporting our boys and our parents, we have a great booster club led by Gennaro Russo, and our parents are fantastic. They don't miss a game, so it's been great. It's one big happy family in Austintown, and we have a great community that we live in, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you played under Coach Wally Ford, and I want to say shortstop?
I wish I played under Coach Ford, because that means I'm a lot younger than I am. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I played under Coach Coppola, and I was a pitcher for the most part, and a fill-in second baseman, but I went on to play in college as a pitcher. So I wasn't much of a second baseman or a hitter.
Okay.
I was a pitcher.
My mistake, but let's talk about Coach Coppola then, and just talk to me real quickly on something that you learned from him playing under him, the best advice that you got from him that you've taken into your coaching career, and you kind of find yourself maybe not necessarily completely imitating, but maybe mirroring in some aspects.
Well, I try to the best of my ability to follow in his footsteps with his patience. If my players are watching right now, they're probably laughing because sometimes I don't have the best patience, but Coach just, he had this aura about him. It was like a president or something. I can't even explain it, but he walked in the room and he just grabbed your attention, and you believed in anything he said, and you wanted to play hard for the guy. And he's amazing. He's an amazing man. So if I had to say one thing, Coach Coppola is one of the most humble people I've ever met. And, he set all kind of records. He started the program here at Fitch. And so I guess his baseball knowledge, his patience, and his modesty is what I've learned the most from Coach Coppola.
Let's go from the mind of Coach Paris to player Coach Paris. What would everything you've learned in your coaching career and all your baseball career, what would you go back to tell yourself now, Coach Paris, to player Paris?
Oh, man, I just would work a lot harder. My father, made me work hard and things like that, but I just wish I would have listened a little bit more and put more work in. If I worked as hard as I make my pitching staff work, I probably would have been a lot better than I was. But so that's probably the thing. But no do-overs. So the only thing I can do now is learn from what I didn't do and pass it on to these young kids now.
You're getting great support in the comments section too, and we love supporting you as well, Coach. You're doing big things, as I believe the Falcons now off to a 12-1 start of the season, and they are red hot. Catch them tonight as they face off against Green. They'll be on the network too, and I'll be there. I look forward to it tonight, Coach. I'll be talking to you again real soon.
Ty, I appreciate all the support, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.